Hey, how's it going? My name is Aaron Romo. I'm a director DP based in Los Angeles. After a while of debating and procrastinating whether I should start my channel or not, I finally decided just to start it. I was waiting for everything to be perfect, but if that's the case, I'll never start. I've been wanting to start YouTube for a while now, not only showcase my work, but I love the platform itself, how we're able to just create whatever we want to as far as project breakdowns, talk about gear, and also showcase other creators, maybe like on a podcast or talk show type of vibe, which I plan on doing. So be on the lookout for that. I do plan on bringing on creators to talk about not only how their creative process works, but to break down their projects as well. With that being said, let's get into our first video and go over one of my last shoots. The video was shot in Airbnb in Joshua Tree. At first, in prep, I was a little skeptic because I know Airbnbs can be a hit or miss, only because they are Airbnbs. They're not places intended for filming. So when that was brought up, I was hoping that they got a nice and spacious place. I know some houses can be very small, especially for filming. But we lucked out. The client ended up getting a really cool Airbnb that fit the vibe very well and had enough space to film in multiple locations within the property. Thankfully, we had a travel day and a little bit of a scout day. So me, my gaffer, and the photographer went up the day before and scouted the location. This was a must, and I feel is a must for 99% of the projects that I do, only because you're a lot more intentional with the shots you create, and you can basically dial in lighting, you know where your sun's gonna be. Seeing the photos on the Airbnb, I know I wanted to really explore the property. So we had to figure out where the sun was gonna be, where we needed to be at what time, and where not to be. It was pretty cool that the property did have a lot of locations to film at. So doing that scout day, figuring out where the sun's gonna be with Sunseeker was a lifesaver. Okay, let's talk camera gear and equipment. Unfortunately, the budget didn't allow us to get a first AC or rent out some cinema glass. Thankfully, I own all the camera gear and equipment that was on the project, so it made it a lot easier to fit the budget needs because I own all the gear, which is a big pro, and it gives me the flexibility to waive certain fees to make the project happen, not only for myself, but for the client as well. So we shot with the Fx6 and the Fx3 using native glass, and between these two cameras, I love this combo. The ease of use of working with both cameras on set is amazing. We rigged the Fx3 on the gimbal, balanced it once, and it lived there the whole day. Same thing with the Fx6, we rigged it to be handheld, and it was either on the tripod or using it for handheld. And the switch between both cameras is just makes the day so much more productive and easier, especially having the camera card as well. Just throw my gimbal on there, grab the camera, and we're off to the next scene. Since this was a fashion campaign, I don't really like to shoot projects like this with native glass, only because they're very clean and clinical, and I don't really like that for these types of shoots. I was thankful enough to have some filters from Element called the Opaline Diffusion filters, which kind of saved the day as far as the look I wanted to achieve. I was using mostly a 1/8 or a 1/16, and it kind of softened the skin a little bit, blooming the highlights just a tad, and softened the image overall just to give me that edge off from the native glass. Overall, I've been using my Sony setup for almost a year now, and for projects like this, I think it shines very well. The ease of use, again, with both cameras, especially when I don't have a first AC, is very productive, and just the workflow is very easy. And if you expose your image properly and you know what you're doing in post, the images you can get out of this camera are amazing. So for the crew, we had a skeleton crew both on photo side and video side. For photo, we had my buddy Ian, who is an amazing photographer, and his assistant Frankie. And for video, it was myself as the DP, Eezy as the gaffer, and Jack as our PA, kind of just hands-on around everything. Other than that, yeah, that was basically it. As far as lighting, I would go over lighting, but I hate talking in front of camera, and my gaffer's here, so why not have him talk about the lighting segment?
Yo, what's up? My name's Eezy. I was the gaffer on this shoot, so let's go through these setups. First off, during the tech scout, we went through all the locations around the house, inside, where we felt as if we would be able to shoot. And primarily, most of the time, me and Aaron, we go through, all right, setups. Like, what can we do naturally? Since it is like a run and gun type of shoot, we were trying to use the natural daylight coming in from the outside as much as possible. Some of the setups weren't that hard. We used the natural bounce from the sand, because it's Joshua Tree, so it was a really sandy area, the tiles in the house. We used the elements a lot during this shoot to help us. We did diffuse during some shots, excuse me. We did use some diffusion. We had an 8x half grid and quarter grid that we used on an exterior shot. It was a single and a 2 shot that we used during Aaron's push-ins, and it worked great. I flew in with the bounce, and that was it. Outside, we didn't really use that much lights. Like I said, we used the natural bounce. You'll be surprised what the sun does when it hits a rock. And if you're close enough to it, it's giving you something, you know what I mean? It's like a natural feel sometimes. So it was a really dope shoot for that main reason. We were able to use the natural elements, and that's what got us through the shoot in most of the cases. Because this was such a dope location, we were able to use what the sun, the elements around the house were giving us naturally, and we were able to run through the shoot pretty efficiently because of that. So, since we did scout, and during the scout, one of every gaffer DP should have sun seeker. We knew where the sun was gonna be at every point of the day when we wanted to shoot a particular look. So that helped us in knowing, all right, let's be inside, let's bang these out, and then we shot outside. When we did go back outside, the sun was exactly where we wanted it, and we were able to fly in with just a bounce, and it kept us so efficient. Like, going from inside to outside based on where we scouted and knew where the sun was gonna be was so clutch. And that was part of our lighting setup, to be honest with you, is using the sun as our key throughout the entire day and just bending and diffusing. So it was a dope day because of that as well.
So overall, to sum it up, the project was really fun. The client itself, Eclectique, was a really nice client to work with. They made the project and the process so easy. I would say the takeaways for me on this, because again, I'm still learning with every project, is to be intentional. Even if it's a running gun, I like to have things planned and also have time to improvise and have that creative space to just do what you're feeling in the moment. But having things planned and being intentional is, in my opinion, a lot better, because you get to work around your subject, have more time to think about it. The day before when we scouted, that night, I was thinking of what we can do, ways we can make it better. How do I close it out? So there it is. That was the light breakdown of my last project. At this point, I'm just rambling, so I will just end it. I don't know how to end these type of videos. This is my first video, so do I just walk? Oh, I gotta say please like and subscribe. There it is, right? And we'll see you on the next one. Yeah, I don't really know. I'll just walk off. Yeah, I'll just walk off. Yeah. Camera cuts, baby. Camera cuts.